Good evening all. Today we will discuss about congestive cardiac failure. So CCF in children, by definition, it is the inability of the heart to maintain an output at rest or during stress, which is necessary for the metabolic demands of the body. You get systolic failure and inability to receive blood into the ventricular cavities at low pressure during diastole. This is called as diastolic failure. So basically, congestive cardiac failure is both systolic failure or diastolic failure. Systolic failure is unable to propel the blood, and diastolic failure is unable to receive the adequate blood. So preload is the stretch response, that is the amount of blood which reaches the heart. So the preload is very important for the cardiac output. That is volume of blood received by the heart. Basically, preload is a stretch, the amount of volume being returned to the heart, and offload is the space, the amount of blood which is coming out of the heart. So afterload is the amount of resistance that the heart has to overcome in order to eject blood. So preload and afterload both are very important to maintain the normal cardiac volume. A note about anemia, which is a easily treatable cause which can cause cardiac failure. So we should check hemoglobin while dealing with the congestive cardiac failure, because children are very prone to develop CCF with the anemia. So normal heart can develop CCF. The hemoglobin is less than 5 grams per deciliter, even though they are structurally normal. It is high output failure, and diseased heart cannot function if the hemoglobin is less than 7 gram per deciliter. So the child is having anemia and heart failure. We should try to correct the anemia, which is a treatable cause. So depending upon the onset of CCF in children, we divide into infancy, neonatal period, and older children. So causes of CCF in infants, it can be congenital heart disease, myocarditis, Kawasaki disease, pulmonary hypertension, anemia, hypoglycemia, infections, hypocalcemia, and neonatal asphyxia. So infants is up to 1 year. So there are few easily correctable causes are there, that is anemia, hypoglycemia, and hypocalcemia, which can be easily corrected, and neonatal asphyxia can be prevented by cut shot in the second stage of labor. Cause of CCF in children, that is rheumatic fever, rheumatic heart disease, congenital heart disease, systemic hypertension, myocarditis, and pulmonary hypertension. So we'll divide into the infancy is further divided into early neonate and late neonate. That is, neonatal period is up to 28 days of life, which can be further divided into early neonate and late neonate. Birth to first week of life. Most commonly, baby will not develop CCF unless they have some rare entities like hypoplastic left heart syndrome, critical aortic stenosis, severe coarctation of aorta, total anomalous pulmonary venous return, and congenital mitral and tricuspid regurgitation, which is severe, and neonatal Epstein anomaly. 1 to 4 weeks, that is late neonatal period, PDA in preterm babies, VSD with coarctation. VSD with any combination can develop in first 1 to 4 weeks of life. Isolated VSD will develop failure in later part of life. VSD with some complications like VSD with coarctation of aorta, VSD with transposition with large VSD, or VSD with the PDA can produce CCF. Persistent truncus arteriosus, severe coarctation, critical aortic stenosis, and congenital MR and TR also can produce failure in the neonatal period. 1 to 2 months after neonatal period, the same transposition of aorta with transposition of greater cells with VSD or PDA, endocardial quotient defects, large VSD, PDA, severe coarctation, total anomalous pulmonary venous return, and Al-Kappa, anomalous left coronary artery from pulmonary artery, will develop failure after 1 month of age. 2 to 6 months. The isolated VSD and PDA sometimes they may present in later part of life, that is after 2 months of life or after 8 weeks. Endocardial quotient defect, coarctation of aorta, Al-Kappa, and single ventricle physiology with unrestricted pulmonary blood flow can produce failure from 2 to 6 months of age. So signs of left-sided failure and signs of right-sided failure. Left-sided failure can produce tachypnea, tachycardia, cough, wheezing, and rales in the chest. Right-sided failure will produce congestive hepatomegaly, facial edema, aortic JVP, and bilateral pitting pedal edema. In case of children, they can able to stand and walk will produce pedal edema. In infancy and neonatal period, it will produce sacral edema. Basically, it's a dependent edema. In infancy and neonatal period, it will produce sacral edema. You should not look in the legs. You should look for the edema in the sacral region. Okay, that is a dependent edema. These are the right-sided failure, fatigue, increased peripheral venous pressure, ascites, weight gain due to ascites, distended jugular veins, anorexia, and GI disturbances due to congestion in the GI tract. Both sides, failure in both sides will produce cardiomegaly, S3 gallop, peripheral cyanosis, and volume plus pulse volume will be small and weight gain will be reduced. Symptoms. Poor weight gain is one of the hallmark of CCF, difficulty in feeding because they have difficulty in breathing, and because of the tachypnea and tachycardia they are not able to feed properly. Persistent cough also another reason for difficulty in feeding. All will lead to poor weight gain. Irritability, excessive perspiration, and restlessness, especially in infancy or in the neonatal period. Forehead setting is one of the hallmark of CCF. Hypoglycemia also can produce forehead setting. So treatment is a four-pronged approach. There is 4 C's and 4 D's. You should remember 4 C's and 4 D's. What are the 4 C's? Cardiac work reduction, contractility augmentation, cardiac performance improvement, and correcting the underlying cause. Correcting the underlying cause, it should come in the priority. We should treat the underlying cause as early as possible. Cardiac work reduction also very important. Contractility augmentation, you should increase the contractile capacity, and cardiac performance improvement also very important. So that is 4C and 4D's. What are the 4D's? Diet, digitalis, diuretics, and diureters. Diet, you should advise them to take low salt and high calorie diet because cardiac contractility require high calories. Digitalis, it can increase the contractility. Diuretics, reduce the preload, and dilators reduce the afterload. That is 4 C's and 4 D's you should remember. Cardiac work reduction, contractility augmentation, cardiac performance improvement, and correcting the underlying cause are the 4 C's and 4 D's: diet, digitalis, diuretics, and dilators. Cardiac work reduction, how you reduce the work of heart? By restricting the patient activities. Adequate bed rest is very important, and treatment of fever, anemia, obesity. Fever will produce tachycardia. If you reduce the fever, the heart rate will come down. Anemia also will produce tachycardia and obesity. Sedatives can be given to calm the child and vasodilators. Contractility augmentation is done with the help of digoxin, catecholamines, and phosphodiesterase inhibitors. Catecholamines like dopamine, dopamine, and adrenaline. Phosphodiesterase inhibitors, amlodipine and melatonin can be used to increase the contractility. Digoxin is the dosage premature 1 month to 1 year, 1 to 3 year, and above 3 year. Diuretics, furosemide and spironolactone are used. Furosemide can be given either orally or IV, 1 to 3 mg orally or 1 mg per kg per dose IV. Spironolactone 1 mg per kg orally every 12th hourly. Performance improvement is by decreasing the preload by giving diuretics and salt restricting diet. So correction of the underlying cause is very important. You should do echo. You should treat the rheumatoid heart disease by medical management. Surgical correction should be done in a time to relieve the symptoms. Correction of hypoglycemia and hypocalcemia, and treatment of anemia. Prognosis. Prognosis is based on the time of onset of the illness and type of illness. Mortality in CCF in children is very high. Prognosis depends on the underlying cause. So you cannot give a good prognosis or bad prognosis. You can give on the guarded prognosis, and it based upon the